Greetings from homily from the Holy Land. As everybody is aware, yesterday was shiva btamuz, a fast day, and we're now going into what they call bein hamitzorim, between the folds, between the 3 weeks between shiva btamuz and between Tisha B'av. And it's time for introspection, tshuva, and to try to contemplate what caused all these churbanos and the tzoros, and obviously, hopefully prepare our lives so to be zech to be as goel. Saw something very interesting. Over Shabbos, I was in Ramot by my kids, and my daughter had a book written by Penina Newbright. Her husband, Oliver Sholem, ex-husband, was a rabbi in the shul my kids go to in Renana. They were divorced, and then he passed away. However, she still is in the shul in Renana. Very pleasant, very intelligent woman. She's a very prominent lawyer. I think her father is something in the Israeli judicial system, but a very learned woman. She gives shurim in the shul. I've met her a few times. My wife sees her because I don't go up to the women's section, but in the balcony. But so I have some connection. But in any case, it's something very beautiful, and it's has to do with connection between Shivos btamuz was the day that the luchos are broken. The Gemara says that 5 things happened on that day. One of them was the breaking of the luchos. Moses came down from the mountain, saw with the Egel Azab, and he smashed the luchos, and of course the walls of the second base of Mikdash of Yerushalayim during the time of the second base of Mikdash were breached. And there's some that say that the Psukim seem to indicate on the first base of Mikdash it was the 9th of Tammuz, but some say that the way they read the Psukim and interpret it, there was also on the 17th. So question is there any connection between the two? With regard to the first, the breaking of the luchos, we find that by the Har Sinai, just before that, the Jews were makabel the Torah. They said, "Kosher, whoever God will tell us, Nasa v'nishma," with jubilance, and the Gemara says, Chazal, that God put the mountain on top of them like a barrel, and said, if you don't accept the Torah, my Torah at Sinai, the mountain will fall down on you. So what's going on? They're all jubilant, they're all excited. So she brings from the Meshech Chochman and from Rav Kook, from the Kotzker Rebbe, that essentially Klal Yisrael did not really internalize what was going on. Yes, they saw miracles. They saw the Kriyas Yamsuf. It's Rosa Shivcha Ayam Mashalo Ra Yecheskel Ben Buzi V'Yishai Ben Vuosam. The maidservant on the at the crossing of the Red Sea, the splitting of the Red Sea, the Reed Sea we have to call it. Saw what Ezekiel saw in his Meiser Merkava, his famous vision of the God's throne room, so to speak, and Isaiah had the same thing. And but the Kotzker Rebbe says that the problem was that she was shivchayim. She saw it as a shivcha, and she still was a shivcha. It didn't mean anything. They didn't internalize it. They were just freed from Egypt. They had a slave mentality. So yes, with all the hype of the the Seres Dibros, and the mountain was smoking and kol shofar, everything. Of course, they got all excited and said, "Nasa v'nishma." But essentially, it was in a situation like the mountain was, taken and sort of put over their heads and forced upon them. They didn't relate to it, and they didn't internalize it. They weren't ready for that, and therefore that could bring to the Egel Azov, because it just didn't. The whole thing didn't register. So they could come to a Egel Azov, and Moshe had to break the luchos. So the same thing in the second base of Mikdash. The Navi says, Kimitzvahs Anshay Anoshim Limuda. Nabi Yeshaya says, chapter 26 in the beginning of Yeshaya, says that yes, there was the Mikdash, they went and offered their sacrifices, they came to pray, and but they didn't really internalize it. It became rote. They didn't take it to heart, and lots have been said about this. So this is the situation also with the Churban. They didn't internalize it, so therefore it just led to the Churban. So this is in fact, the Cook says very beautifully that during the 3 weeks, Shulchan Aruch says the Rebbe's not supposed to hit the kids. Today the Rebbe hits the kids. They handcuff them and put them in jail. But what was the purpose of this? And he says, because you can't rule by the stick. The teacher has to make sure that the kids relate to the Torah mitzvahs, to relate to the Torah. It's something that they want to do. They have to find the beauty and the majesty in Torah. Just don't hit them over the head with a stick. Inculcate the beauty of it. And this is essentially our job during the 3 weeks. We've got to internalize the mitzvahs. We've got to internalize our relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Davening shouldn't be just we go to shul because that's it. We're just used to doing it. And this was the cause of the ego, and this, of course, led to the eventually the Churban. So let's hope, Mirz Hashem, that during these 3 weeks we try to increase our observance of Torah and mitzvahs, but to the sense that we make it part and parcel of ourselves. We take the beauty and the majesty of all the Torah and the mitzvahs, and we make it part of our entire personality. And that will be Zachar, to Geulah Shlema b'Meher Yameinu. Amen. And this Tisha B'Av will become a Moed, Bezras Hashem Yisborach Shmo. Be well.